to StarCraft 2 stuff on MLG. Today we are gonna fight the Imperial Empire and the Stormtroopers with Ewoks and lightsabers. It's the Stars War League involving Stars Wars. In all seriousness, this isn't anything about Star Wars.
Wait,
I know
what?
a lot of people no.
Oh, it's Stars War, not.
Yeah.
I get it.
See, Nick came in today. He thought we were doing Star
I
Wars
did.
stuff.
I was so excited. I got my lightsaber here. I've got my force shield, and
You watched.
Yeah.
You watched. So that's why you were watching Star Wars all weekend. There was like Nick was literally
was
just watching Star
hyping
Wars
myself
all
up.
weekend. Okay. Well,
It was
I'm
for
sorry to
work.
disappoint
It was
you.
for work.
It was for work.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to disappoint you. Maybe we can inject some references to Star Wars as this goes along. But what you guys are watching is the semifinals of a pretty heavily invested tournament. As far as there's a lot of money at stake.
That's right. I think it's 15,000 or 16,000, somewhere in that zone. Of course, $10,000 for first place, and then there's other money distributed elsewhere.
Yep.
This tournament is 4 top Korean players, along with all the top players from China, all the top players from Southeast Asia, Australia, basically the whole region, along with the 4 top Korean players. Of course, those Korean players who win this tournament were Nesty, Parding, Liquid Hero, and Maru. Now we're in the semifinals. Out of those 4 Koreans, 3 of them made the semifinals. Nesty fell to Parding. So actually, the only Korean so far to lose has been to another Korean. Although there were losses in the group stages. I know Nesty, I think, lost to
Asking me a question.
I gotta check. Who did Nesty lose to? I'm gonna ask you.
I'm afraid to look because guys, the results actually. Yeah, we already cast that, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Nesty lost to...
Nesty has already lost... Oh, he tied with F91 with 1-1, and he tied with Sen. So the way they did the group stages was it was 2 games in a row. So there were some ties involved there. Like Maru tied with Jim earlier. So that was actually... it was...
Maru 2-0 Jim.
Yeah, he tied with Moonglade, excuse me.
Yep.
Tied with Moonglade.
Good job, Moonglade.
And so there's been some matches that... the Koreans have lost, but overall, once you got to the playoffs, the only Korean so far lost has been Nesty.
Yep.
And of course, that was the Parding. So
we got 4 players left.
Yeah, the
4 players left. They're all really, really good, and they're all at this point. They might get eliminated. They're fighting for.
Well, one of them will. 2 of them will today, actually.
Absolutely. So they're fighting for a lot of money and to stay alive in the tournament, go to the finals. Again, a lot of money is on the line here. The 4 players are Sen, Parding, Maru, and Hero. They're best of 5s. Yes. Yes. I love best of 5s.
Best of 5s are awesome.
What are we starting out with?
We're starting out with Sen versus Parding. Will be the first semifinal. Next will be Maru against Hero.
Nice.
And one thing, Bart, before we jump into the game, I want to talk about is you could say, oh, this is a top Chinese tournament, and the Chinese players are supposed to be amazing. How come there's no players from China in the top 4? Of course,
Great
Sen from Taiwan. And it's honestly, this is how competitive this tournament is. And for example, Jim, if you saw, we had earlier was the quarterfinals of this. Jim went neck and neck with Hero, and it was an insanely close, intense series. Hero barely edged him out. And there was other great Chinese players here, like XY was in here as well. He did very well. I think XY barely got knocked out as well. But now we're at it, Korean superstars along with Sen. So let's jump into the first semifinal.
Right? I'm excited for this one. It's a PVZ, and these guys are really good. These are the guys that you're going to see their names everywhere in 10 years when someone's writing the history of esports.
When you're walking down the street,
walking
down
billboards everywhere.
And there's clothing models.
Yep. There's mannequins constructed off of their bodies.
Yep.
And there's branding everywhere regarding these 2 players. Like, again, these are pretty much the legends of StarCraft 2. In the bottom right-hand location, your Blue Zerg player from Team Gamania, the Taiwanese player. He's made a splash in many tournaments around the world, and he's making a splash here in this Gigabyte SWL. He is Sen. Of course, Sen made that famous decision to go jump into Taiwanese Star League. There was a period where he was playing tournaments everywhere. Like he was playing in NASL. He was playing in, I think, GSL maybe, or something. He was traveling a lot, and then he made that decision to kind of limit himself to the Taiwanese Star League. And that was a situation where a lot of people were surprised because a lot of people thought that he would, stick to the international scene. But he's like, you know what? I'm just going to stay in one place in the Taiwanese Star League. I'm really going to focus on that. And he's been doing great things there in that pro gaming environment. That's set in the bottom right. At the top left, I present your Red Protoss player representing Team SKT1. He is Parding. And there's a lot of storylines behind Mr.
Soul
Parding.
Train.
Yep. What's your
Tickets
favorite?
for sale. Tickets for sale.
What are your favorite historical facts about Mr. Parting?
Historical. Ooh.
Yes.
You know what? I love his confidence.
Mm.
I mean, that's not an exact date, but like every tournament, every interview, he's always so super confident. I love how he's such a mechanically focused player. He doesn't really try to outsmart people. He just tries to like just outsmash them. He's just so
Sure.
confident that he's the better player in his interviews and in his gameplay. It's you can really tell it. There's players who they're very good. In fact, actually, a really great example is Maru. Maru, who we'll see in the next semifinal, the winner of the most recent the WCS Korea.
Yes.
Very, very, very good player, Maru. And when he plays people, he wins almost all the time, right? He's one of the very
He's a
best
machine.
players. Yeah, he's a machine. But if you look at him also, he doesn't play quite with the same confidence of partying. Like, he thinks, what do I do to beat this guy? And then he figures out a plan to beat him, and he does it, right? That's how Maru plays, and that's why he's so super successful, or a big part of it. Obviously, he's insanely talented with the mechanics, too. Partying doesn't even do that. He's like, who am I playing? Oh, I don't care. I'm just going to just do my strategy, and it's going to kill him because I'm way better. Like, that's literally what he plays. It's just like,
it works.
I don't need to do anything special.
How much money did he win in the last 6 months of 2012 or 2013? What was it where he made that?
It's
Sorry,
somewhere like
2012.
$250,000, I think.
Yeah, he literally like there's
maybe 200,000.
a 3 to 4 month period where he made $200,000.
It was pretty brutal.
Like that is.
Of course, half of that was from winning WCS Global Finals of 2011. So he's actually the current WCS super champion, you could say. He was last year's WCS champion. This year, of course, there'll be a new one crowned at BlizzCon. It's coming up in, I think, about 2 months.
And then he got invited to SKT1.
Yes.
Which is massive. Like,
With
so
a
on
big
top of
salary,
that
too.
3 to 4 month period of winning however much money he won, a lot, I think we can understand, unless you're a billionaire and you're watching this, in which case you should donate to my PayPal, thanks. So he got invited to SKT1, which is a huge deal. This is Kespa team. They're like full of pros. They're super serious. It's like if you're going from, you know, the minor leagues to the major leagues kind of a thing in a sense.
Yes.
I think it might be okay putting it that way because, you know, Kespa, they're super serious. Their gamers are the best in the world.
They are.
And Parting got an invite into that environment, which is huge for him, and a lot of money to come with it.
Yeah, and it's money. It's a training environment, like you said, and it's a lot of opportunities as well to you know, compete in Pro League, where you get probably the most sponsor attention of any tournament in the world comes from Pro League. I would say.
Yes.
Just as far as getting out there in front of, you know, where the most people can kind of see you, who are participating in and sponsoring esports events.
Yep. It's a legendary environment there.
And if you're watching WCS Korea recently, Parting's been looking stellar. He was in the group of death. He was in the group with Flash, Maru, and Kangho, who's been looking really good lately. And that was yeah, also formerly known as Lucira. And that was a really intense group. I encourage you guys to check out those games. I think it was 2 nights ago, or last night even maybe. No, it wasn't last night. It was 2 nights ago. Maybe it was 3 nights ago.
We got a little bit of poking here. Parting actually making a lot of stalkers here. Sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah.
What do you think of this move here?
You know, I like it. He has a recall available. Obviously, if you know, there's enough Zerglings, they can try to trap the stalkers as they come in here. But the whole goal, the goal is like, you know what? I'm just going to try to force out Zerglings and not drones. Make Sen not drone. If you look at Sen's drone count, it's only 41. Zergs really want to drone unhindered to at least 55.
Spinecro is saying, let me root. Let me get into the ground, please. But the stalkers are like, no way, Jose. Get a micro away from those Zerglings. And how? Okay, so how did he make these stalkers? Did he
just
made
one gate?
One gate, and he just gatewayed them all out, for lack of a better term?
Actually, 3 of them might have been warped in.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking.
Because he did have 3 gates here.
So,
yeah,
so he made one stalker in the beginning.
To be safe, he made a couple sentries early as well. You know, just to cover early. So speed's just started.
Oh my god.
He doesn't even have to recall, actually.
Yeah.
I thought there'd be speed out. You know, Sen's really getting a ton of Zerglings.
Now going back into drones.
Yeah, he has enough
and
now.
And the third base is being taken by Parting. That's
Look at this guy.
Super cheeky cool.
I love this build.
Yeah.
This is really cool. Now, of course, this is a build you have to be able to be really on top of your mechanics to do, because there's a lot of people like, I can walk around with stalkers and be annoying, but if you're missing probe production behind this, you're missing anything in your macro. Your macros are absolutely perfect. I mean, look at Parting. He hasn't missed a single probe here. In fact, if you look at workers, he's even with the Zerg at the, you know, I mean, it's like 840 mark.
Sure.
He basically hit 50 workers at the same time the Zerg did, which is very rare. Well, no, I mean, it's not insanely rare, but it's because he's been, while he's been, you know, in front of the Zerg, microing his stalker as well, never letting him get trapped, he's also been macroing at home like a monster.
Sen going for a 1-1 upgrade, and now what's going through Sen's mind right now? I mean, he sees these Stalkers poking forward. Does he have any knowledge of that third base? Oh, actually, he's going to try to swoop in here. There's the recall. Does he have any knowledge of that third base?
I don't think he's spotted yet. He's
Okay,
yes, he actually has. Sorry.
So what's his plan from here? I mean, he's teching up, going for that 1-1.
But
can he really do anything with these lings is my question.
No.
His opponent already has those 3 bases, so maybe just take a 4th right now as Sen?
Yeah.
Or maybe go straight to Mutas or something?
A 4th would be nice, and he's either going to go to Mutas or he might go straight to Hive. We did see him in the quarterfinal match.
Like Ultras type thing? Look at that, 17 drones in production.
He was playing, who was he playing in the quarterfinals? It was Top. I think he was playing against the Protoss Top, if I remember right. Maybe I don't. In any case, I remember he had a match in that quarterfinals where he tried to get straight to Ultradus, and the other Protoss had this crazy timing. They got him right before he hit that timing.
He played against Maxed.
Maxed, okay, that's what it wasn't Top, it was Maxed. So, I think that's what he's going to do here again as well. In fact, we see Hydra Stun and 4 spawns in production. The Hydra Stun is like a precautionary move in case there's a mass gateway timing. He wants to build Hydrodus.
Right, but he's not even upgrading a missile attack, so it's not like he's wanting to invest a lot into the Hydras. Good point, though, there.
Yeah, his goal going forward is really going to be going to Ultraless.
Yep.
But that's going to be tricky. If you look at partying,
he's
right
pushing with a lot of Blink Stalkers here.
And a lot of gateways are coming up. I mean, he's going to be on about 10 different gateways. It's going to be very, very hard to stop.
At the very least, a 4th base is going to get denied here, I think, which is already mission accomplished for parting.
Yes.
At the very most, for lack of a better term, he can win the game. But I don't expect that to necessarily happen. 5 Hydras in production.
I don't know how well the Hydras are going to do, though, because Blink Stalkers in high numbers can actually do very well against Hydras, and
especially Parting's micro with his force fields.
Yeah, it's Party is micro, but it's also the way the game's played out. Parting's been ahead in macro the whole game. And Hydras are a unit where you kind of have to be ahead of your opponent in economy to make them work, and that hasn't been true this game. In fact, it's because of the way Parting opened and the damage he's able to do. He's been the one in the economic advantage. So, like, Stalkers versus Hydras is often basically who has more. And looking at it, it's pretty clear that Parting has more now, and he's pushing forward right now. Ice units and force fields continuing to warp in reinforcements using that pylon.
This is a great timing.
Yeah.
He's basically hitting right when his 3 bases kick in, and that was the big leap he made in this game, going for that very fast 3rd base, and now he's charging forward with a bunch of Blink Stalkers. Remember, the Stalkers he had earlier in the game, they're in this composition. They're still alive. I don't think he's lost many units at all. And he's going to blink forward. Yeah, he's only lost 4 units. And it's the 12-minute mark of the game. And he's blinking forward to his opponent's 3rd base. Very close to a perfect game here from Parting. And Sen, he can't even access his 3rd base to help out. His Hydras are like, let me help out my friends at 3rd base. But Parting's like, you know what? No, I'm going to force field you off. You shall not pass.
Yeah, great play by Parting here. His 3rd base is dead. And what's worse is losing this base would have actually been okay if he's going to Ultradus against a relatively low-tech Protoss, if you could have gotten all the drones out to this base. But instead, it was just a massacre. Just all the drones died. He had a lot of units that died out there.
13 more drones in production, by the way.
Yeah, he's only at 48. I mean,
48.
We do see Parting playing it safe and retreating as he's low on force fields, and almost more importantly, on creep, it's a little bit more difficult to fight when you're this far into creep or reinforcements where it would be further away. And of course, even if you blink backward micro against a Zerg on creep, they can chase you down so fast while the blink is still on cooldown. So Parting's playing it safe, waiting for, basically the observer to clear creep. He's going to get a crosshair to help
the base. I think 4th base is going to be on his mind. I mean, he has 1,000 minerals, which is great. Mothership, once the Mothership comes out, he can start to
rebuild that. We'll see if he's planning to just do a big follow-up attack with a couple Colossi, or if he's going to play, expansion and macro game. Going forward, he is going to go on attack again. He should, here comes Observer. He wants to really start pushing that creep back.
Nice.
He doesn't want to wait around too long, because while he's winning, his army is very Stalker heavy, so if the Zerg got up like a bunch of Infestors and a bunch of Ultralists,
ooh, there's stuff going on in the main,
fall apart.
by the way, of Sen.
Oh yeah, nice little warp in, harass. A great use of minerals there. Keep the Zerg distracted into main, and Warp isn't going to get away.
As he does that,
he's pushing into the 3rd base over here.
3rd base. And look at that force field in the ramp. So as soon as you lay down those force fields, everything in this area is dead.
Yes, and meanwhile, with the Zerg distracted, again, the Warp comes back into the main. And in small battles, the Zealots do very good against the Hydra. So it's a great way to use your minerals, warping those Zealots into small battles. And in the major battles, that's where your Stalker Sentry army does its work, trying to clear up all this creep. More damage being done in the main, and look at how well the Zealots are trading.
Yeah.
Very, very effective. And notice how he doesn't commit too far on a creep. He wants to just let the creep proceed, play it safe. And I mean, the game's fully in Parting's hands right now.
He's making this look so easy, too. I mean, he's playing like Sen is no schmuck. Sen is one of the best players to ever play StarCraft 2. He has results.
Everyone's just smuck when they play party, man.
Yeah, party.
That's what this guy does to people.
This, you know, it started out with a build, and remember, this is game 1. And I'm not saying it's over, but Parting is certainly pretty far ahead. He has all the momentum. He's in complete control of this game. Sniping bases left and right. Taking down a bunch of drones. But it's a situation where Sen might adjust in the next game. He's like, okay, my opponent on Akalon Wastes went for a very fast third base. That's what Protosses do on Akalon Wastes. So maybe Sen picks a map where he can more easily predict what his opponent's going to do, and he can, you know, make a bit of a different decision. But it's a situation where he went to Hive, and I think his plan was to go for Ultras, but his plan has completely changed.
There's too much pressure. He was forced to build Hydralisk and Roaches, and now he's kind of stuck into it because Ultras only work if you get out a good chunk of them, you know, 4, 5, 6 at least. And if you already have a bulk of Hydralisks, they don't actually go that well with Hydralisk because you need, ideally, you either have a lot of Ultralisks, so some tank for the others, or you have a lot of Zerglings or Binions with Ultralisks. You need something to help basically take up other attacks because Ultralisks, if you just have like 2 in the front, the whole Protoss army will focus them down and they'll die instantly. And the Ultralisks is really there for its damage output, not just its life.
Okay, Parting is maxed. This is the timing he's been looking for. Going to send some units into that third base. Going to try to distract his opponent. Those are fake Colossi in the front. He's hoping that his opponent pulls those with the Vipers. That's what he's going to do. He's pulling the weakened Colossi. That's exactly what Parting is okay with. And now he has this High Templars. Throwing in the Time Wars from the Mothership Core. Blinking forward with the Stalkers. Targeting down those Vipers. Great micro here from Parting. And Sen trying to figure out a way to engage this.
This is such a tough spot for Sen. You know, he has 2 Abducts left. If he can get 2 of the Colossi, maybe with enough roach reinforcements, he could push this back. But with Storms in the mix too, and a great blinding cloud from Sen actually.
Look at those Storms though. All the Hydra's gonna melt away, and the Colossi, yes, they're still very much alive. They're having fun. It's War of the Worlds. Actually, mismarking them a little bit there.
Oh, there's a blinding cloud. Yeah,
wow, that was a really good blinding.
You know, Sen's. I'll love a decision there to say, you know what? Even if I abduct the Colossi, the Stalkers alone would probably kill me, so I'm gonna go for the blinding clouds and control that engagement very, very well. But it's just, I mean, Parting is absolutely everywhere. He's killing the base
As that was
here.
happening, guess what Parting was doing? A million other things. Sending Zealots toward that fourth base, taking it out. And now this third base is going to be vulnerable on the right-hand side. Sen desperately making 11 roaches. Speed isn't even done yet, though, and there's the GG. What a great game there.
Yeah, I mean, that's Parting at his finest, you know. There's no, like, cute build order gimmicky stuff. He just gets in your face, and he just outplays you.
Gets in your face, gets in your base.
Yep, he gets in all the bases. He's pushing to front, he's hitting the back. Very just standard technical play, and execution is always so precise. You can know it's coming, but what are you going to do against it?
I guess Sen is going to have to figure that out because Sen is down 1-0 in this best of 5. So this good news is a best of 5 here for Sen, so he has some room to come back. He's kind of identified this strategy that Parting used, going for the fast third base, being aggressive those initial 4 Stalkers. I love that. Oh my gosh, like I'm a guy who just like, I don't like waiting. It's Protoss, like a playstyle of Protoss is just waiting, expand, hope your opponent isn't doing anything scary, and just defend against anything he throws at you. I'm the kind of guy who likes getting units on the field and kind of dictating the momentum of the game. And that kind of a build there from Parting kind of did that. Getting those initial 4 Stalkers, getting the Mothership Core. What would that be weak against from a Zerg?
I mean, it's kind of map dependent. If a Zerg got faster speed and built like it stopped drones at about 40, but already had speed almost done by that point, maybe like starting to speed even before the third, or that's kind of risky because Parting would see that with the drone. Maybe right as he starts a third, starting to single gas and getting a faster speed.
The speedlings would kind of shut that down.
But on this map, it's still fine because by the time that happens, your third is still safe. On a different map, it might be a little trickier to defend a third from speedlings. You can wall in a cannon, but they might get a Nexus cancel or something to help compensate it. Overall, very strong. A lot of people, what's very important about that is he got 2 sentries before he got the warp in. So that if there was some Zerg because
so he made a Stalker sentry out of his gateway?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, and if you have your units on the field, you have the most core on the field. If your opponent does some like mass speeding Roach Olin type thing, what happens? You might have to recall, and then you have no photon overcharge. Or maybe they just hit your natural, and you have to recall back. Either way, if they hit your army or you're forced to use energy there, if you don't have those sentries, your defense could be very vulnerable. So.
Yeah, sentries so important. Well, cool, and Mothership Core obviously is instrumental in that as well. So, wow, very cool game there between Parting and Sen. Parting is going to be a 1-0. Remember, this is a best of 5. The winner will advance to the finals of StarWars League Season 3. Guys, stay tuned. Game 2 between Parting and Sen coming up.